Hi and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. In the last videos we kind of did some main side quests and overall just started the game, got into the Marauders Guild and got almost way to level 8. Luckily now we're going to be doing the side quests Fool Me Once and Glory Days. Since Fool Me Once could already be completed now, we should trudge travel over there. And where is that located? Well, we can check on the map. They want us to head all the way to near Moribi Bay. That means we have to take outside. Oh, is it up these stairs? Nice. Okay, well, I'll see you there then. Actually, along the way, let's talk a little about Las Gnosia. As you can see, it's pretty castle-based, and a lot of this environment around here has to do with shipping. Due to them being pirates, we can kind of get a feel for this with a lot of the oceans. It's one of my favourite places, but overall I also think Ul'dah is pretty cool. While we're along the way, we could also speak to Clindril for the other quest, Glory Days. So let's just go see what it's up about him. Baderon actually likes Aurelia umbrellas? Gods, I'd never even considered trying to eat one of those old things. Nevertheless, it's Aurelia's seek. You ought to find the plenty by the river, just past the Tempest Gate and east to the sea. God, well, he can't speak as well just as I. So let's keep going outside. So we need to slay some umbrellas, which I don't really understand what those are. But an Aurelia sounds like pretty fancy. I really love the environment outside of here already. It's so full of life, for wharf rats, for things, and these mossless goblins I think one of my favourite things. Final Fantasy XIV has such a diverse amount of creatures and they're all so well animated, although it's munching with its such sharp teeth. It's quite, for how unassuming it looks on the outside and quite gentle, it is quite terrifying. And damn. Well, we can't really face him yet. We could try, but I think we might struggle. As you can see, if I go over to my character, we're still missing any headpiece. Our body and everything else is kind of just the standard stuff you have right now. But luckily, I was able to get a hold of some gear in between this episode and last episode, and as such, we may be able to equip it now and see how much better stuff we've got. It's probably why I have so much less gold than I did last time. But already, so we have a level 11, our axe isn't as good. We can have a better Curtis, yes. Better gloves, better things, and better boots. Bit red and blue, doesn't really match with the blue gloves, but hey, later on when we do some side quests we should be able to dye our gear. That's when you get into the real side of Final Fantasy XIV, which is fashion. Well, now that we've found the Aurelias, let's start this. So, I kind of recommend, if you have one of those keyboards and mice, you can kind of just assign the certain buttons to on my mouse. So, for example, I have a Corsair mouse with buttons on the side of it, and just by pressing the buttons, I don't have to go around and press the keys on my keyboard. I find it easier and faster. For when you're trying to do combat and you don't really have to look away from the screen, which will be not as important now as the stuff is a lot less, demanding. But as you get into later quests, you kind of need to focus to avoid more attacks as much as possible. And we've also just got, as we've reached level 8, we've got a tutorial about role actions. Role actions are assigned to all the classes, and in this case we got a Rampart ability, which reduces damage taken by 20% for 20 seconds. This is honestly probably one of the most useful skills you could have as a tank. You will be using it forever, the entire way through. It's very, very important, especially during bosses. And as such, I highly recommend to make use of it. As soon as we're just going against single mobs here, we don't really need it. Luckily, it recharges every 90 seconds, which isn't too bad. I think as a tank, you shouldn't be afraid of using your cooldown abilities when they're needed. You might want to feel like you want to conserve them, but actually just use them when you feel comfortable, and that's mainly just for experience. But the most times you use them are when your health is starting to dip low and you heal, you don't feel too comfortable, and when you're during a boss fight. Anytime there's going to be a big tank buster, either try and spread the damage or use a cooldown, in this case Reprisal. So let's speak to Ancreta. Ye say someone told ye to come to me work, lad. I'm afraid I've been had. You've been had. We're known to hired adventurers, 'tis true, but we always go through the Adventurers Guild. even if you wanted to assign you duties. Geliodakit's regulations prohibit me from doing so directly. Now, if you don't mind me working in official capacity, I've got a personal request I can make you fair of. Oof, again. Twice now, this quester has fooled us. But luckily, Ankreeta has a quest for us as well, so let's get to this. Cry me a liver. Ankreeta, sentry at the eyes, solicits assistance. Me granddad's head of a red rooster stead, Anox his name. He asked me to bring him some river toad livers, but mere thought of pulling slimy livers out of slimy frogs gives me the shivers. Maybe you care for a fetch a liver or free. You can get him by slaying the river toads that dwell in the eyes. Delicious. And also while we're here, let's go and do Cry Me a Liver. I was mistaken. I need to get to Glory Days after this, so I think after doing this quest, it should be... Oh, it's back at the thing. That's okay. Let's get down here. Oof. Look at these bad boys. Terrifying. Oof. No, get away, quick. Alright. Just do the quest. You don't really need to care much about positioning, it's just me, but I do recommend when you're in bosses to have the enemies face away from the party and at you as you're a tank. You should be taking most of the brunt hits of the attacks, and you kind of want to get that damage away from the healers. A lot of it can be quite spread out, but give yourself enough room to avoid big AoEs. You don't want to accidentally die and kind of screw everyone over. A lot of responsibility being a tank, you know. But it's fun. It's a fun class. I've only ever really played this MMO, but I do enjoy it. I used to play Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online years ago. I swear I used to play a tank during that. I have vague memories of it over one summer, but it was a lot of fun. So I'll meet you back at the place now. I'm gonna do Glory Days first, and after that I should just jump over to Cry Me a Liver. So, see you then. Alright, we're back and we're going to speak to Badaro to complete Glory Days. Let's see what he has to say. Shibodi said there's an adventurer might be dropping by to deliver something special. That you, lad? Well, we do have the umbrellas and some gelatinous slime of Aurelia. Delicacy. Yum. I think I'll stick to fish and chips. Els, lad. You didn't have to go to all this trouble. Ha ha ha, the goddamn smell. I hated Aurelia Limbus since I was a sellsword. It is only the nastiest shite I ever put in my mouth. We tried sprinkling it with salt and cooking it over a campfire, but it was still little to better than a chewing on driftwood. Try for yourself, lad, you'll see what I mean. Again, well, seeing as he doesn't really offer us anything after we've now upgraded, but some more fire shards, I think we'll stick to the bronze pieces again. And that's another quest completed, 260 XP. We're getting on our way to level 10 and some more achievements. Achievements are a lot of fun to collect. I think you could do more later on as you get better at the game and start to have more free time. Right now we're still in the very early game, but there's a lot to Final Fantasy XIV. There's now 4 expansions with Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers and Endwalker, and right now we are in A Realm Reborn. Originally Final Fantasy XIV was 1.0, but after but the game was relaunched as A Realm Reborn, and with a completely set 5 years I think after 1.0, and it follows some of the same characters at an older date and introduces new characters as well. It's really fun. It is connected to the old one, but you can completely start here. You don't need any previous knowledge of 1.0. I know because I personally haven't. I don't know anything about 1.0 and I've understood the story so far. But now let's talk to Licensed to Reeve. Very cool. Mordin would like to make you a completely legal proposition. Sounds fun. You want for coin, adventurer? How do you fancy working for Kraken Arms, one of the greatest pirate crews in Limsa? If you're interested, take yourself up these steps to a balcony above and talk to Carlvain, our captain. Do right by him and I'll treat you to right by me. Well, that sounds fun. Let's speak to Carlvain. Ooh. Very cool, very piratey. And what a nice view. Look at that. Beautiful world of Eorzea. Let's see if we can jump up. Nah, I can't jump off. F. What's he have to say? Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Seventh Sage, purveyors of the finest spices from the East. All of our products are guaranteed obtained through completely legal means. Oh, you don't seek spices but employment? Well then, let us speak of how you might be of service to our organisation. Our misery returned here from a latest voyage bearing exotic spices, never before seen in Eorzea. I prepared 2 samplers. each of which I would have you deliver to certain individuals. The first is Ginard, from whom you will find a Coral Tower. The second is Master Lingsafe, the head chef of Bismarck, and do make certain that the right person gets the right set. Go now, and return here once you have accomplished the task. Mysterious. But again, while we're here, there's another quest, well, really another couple quests we can take, and continue License to Reeve. What's a lot of fun about this early on quests is you don't really have to travel that far to complete them, and they're pretty quick and just provide a lot of world building. We can just see how intricate the pirates' world is here in Limsa Lominsa, and we can also get a feel for the fact there's different guilds here. So here is blacksmithing, I'm pretty sure, which is goes into the crafting side of Final Fantasy XIV. Crafting is very useful, and we'll talk about it later as we move on to it. But you can use it for a market board, make your own stuff and sell it, and you can also just improve your own gear, so you can avoid the market board entirely and try and save some money along the way. It does take a lot of time, but hell, it's fun. 1,000 words. Letitia needs some help to report a bilking patron. We spare no effort to ensure that all our patrons enjoy the finest food and hospitality, and so it is doubtfully hurtful when someone decides to leave without settling the bill. Nary a bell to go. A first-time patron just did that. Rashumo is the one who's lovingly prepared the man's meal. She is quite upset by the offer. Oh my! Oh, is this a cooking guild? Yikes! I got it wrong. Oh, I should have realised from bed. My bad. Zack Sprout, you know, he doesn't have glasses. He's kind of he's struggling. Oh my God, there's meat at the back and veg. Jesus. Okay, well, I guess for cat ears, you know, we just can't see. You can't see it all. I'm blind. Take it away yourself to draw an illustration of the offender. Might I trouble you to deliver it to the Yellow Jackets on our behalf? Rashumo should be done adding the fishing touches by now. Okay. We can speak to a couple of people here, but again, we'll just go outside quickly and speak to Hilano. Very cool, a fellow Mikote. And we can also get another bronze piece, a sheepish request. Lahano needs to help replenish with Bismarck's larders. Beg your pardons, good sir, but you are an adventurer, are you not? I realise this is sudden, but we urgently need help restocking our larders. We are in the midst of preparing a full-course meal for soon-arriving guests, but I fear we should fall short on fresh lamb of the main course. I would be grateful if you could procure 4 slices for us. I dare say it would be quicker to obtain these directly from the source. Wild lambs. In any case, you are unfamiliar with creatures. I suggest you speak into the Abelfar, a sentry station in Bulwark Hall, just below the Drowning Wench. Fresh lamb. Delicious. Maybe we'll find some mint along the way, you know? Okay, let's keep talking to these guys. The Guildmaster. Ooh. Okay, it's kind of just rubbing it in now that I didn't notice with the spoons and the big oven mitts. A new sample from the Seventh Sage? Alright, let's have a whiff of it then. Let's see what it is. Let's hope he likes it. Ain't smelled nothing like this out of before. This notice came when it stays at a root that grows on Offard. Last I heard, Offard was under Imperial rule. How the 7 L's did Carl Valen manage to get a hold of this? Any road, I reckon I could cook up something fresh and new with it. Thanks for delivery, friend. Glad he liked it. Grr, I poured my heart and soul into that grilled dodo. If I ever get my hands on that scoundrel, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Here it is, my rendition of a criminal. Please deliver it to Godbar in the Coral Tower. He will know what to do. I feel bad for him now. All he did was skip out on a meal. Alright, so now I'll just head over to the next quest we can find, and I'll meet you back after we've spoken to a few more people. Home sweet home, we arrive at the Guildmasters for Marauders. Luckily a few of our quests managed to come over here, and we can meet up with a good old Grenade. Welcome to the headquarters of the Yellow Jackets, the keepers of the peace in Limsa Lominsa. Is that all I can assist you with? Well, here's some spices. A sample of the spices courtesy of his 7th Sage, you say? There is no mistake. This is fire sand, and the kind used to pick garlands beside. Quite intriguing. Very well, we will consider placing it an order. Oh, you thought you had brought me spice? I see, you are not familiar with Carvalinicisms. For the sake of convenience, he used the word spice to refer to literally anything he has produced over the seas. Lest you worry, this man is engaged in activity that is considered piracy. Far from it, think of him as a trader, a heavily armed one, who represents Lominsian interest in earnest lands. Oh, so although he may come off as a bit dangerous, it is totally legal. I guess we should have trusted him from the start. Talk to Godbert as well. Let's see what he has to say. A biker, a bilker of a Bismarck, and you have an artist rendition of a man? Just so happens we do. Whatever seven hells is this supposed to be? It looks more like the pro of a man's ship than a man's face. Look, we would like mopping him off to bring the offender to justice. 'Tis our duty, after all. However, we will need a little bit more to go on with this piece of art. It would be easiest for all involved if Rashuma were to come here and answer some questions. Please relate to her as much. Well, hopefully we could have looked at the image, you know? I would have liked to see that drawing. I guess, you know, just because you're a chef doesn't mean you're an artist. Well, I'll meet you back at a few more of a side quest. Just going to leave. I think Sheepish Request is the next one we'll go to. Or, License to Reeve. Ooh, back at Carvillian. Just noticed his name is almost like villain. So, I guess maybe we should have suspected something. But luckily he's a good guy. Welcome back. It would seem both samples were rather well received. This is no small part due to our affable courier. It is fortunate. But not entirely, notoriety accumulated over the course of years does not fade overnight. There are many still who are hesitant to do business with savage pirates. Yet the old days of piracy and past, giving way to a new wave of opportunity. My crew and I decide to embrace this wave. With the Admiral's blessing, we engage in a form of trade with the Garlean ships. Everything we do, you may rest assured, is within the law. Well, that put my worries to rest. As we can see, the Admiral really has changed the society of Levinsa. Although, as we wrongly assumed, that everyone was just pirates, Limsa has turned changed its flag, really, I guess, and is now becoming more of, a naval state, more quite lawful. There are still issues ridden within, but, like people stealing food. It's a nice place, and it's getting better by the day. Ah, so you've spoken with Godbert? Within the bell, the Yellowjacks have a swindling scoundrel locked to a judge's cell, and will take my filleting knife. Ah, Rashuma, jeez. Godbert wants me to go to a coral tower for questioning. But what more information does he want that my drawing doesn't already provide? Isn't a picture supposed to paint 1,000 words? 1,000 words, and maybe not how so skilled. Well, we're already there. 350, very nice. Okay, so I think the next quests we have to get to are a bit far away, down at the bottom, so again I'll just meet you there. But to be fair, we can look over at the night sky. What a beautiful place Limsa is. And hey, maybe we'll go meet a few people down there. Arriving at the Aetheryte, we can see just how busy Limsa is. It's nearly 12 PM, but it's 12 AM. I can still just see how packed Limsa is. This is probably because of how close the Aetheryte is straight to the market boards, and this is pretty crucial later on. It'll become very useful as we try and trade some more, and we can learn a quick tutorial how to search for items in the markets. So we could you can free search by typing. Be careful, it is quite typo sensitive, so if you can't spell something, you better off just checking on the through the different categories and just searching through what you're finding. Or if it's like iron bucket or like a type of sword but you don't have to spell the sword, just type in iron, you can scroll through and you'll find it eventually. So what we want to look for right now is something for our head. Let's see if there's anything cheap. Ooh, 300, 400, eye patch. Ooh, the eye patch is very tempting though, and I hope we can find someone to sell it soon. As we can notice here, this is about 300 for the cheapest one, but some people go for 1,000. Some people put some ridiculous prices, but hey, it's good to take advantage of when people will buy. I know early on in my other playthrough, I was kind of stupid enough to spend basically every gil I got immediately on the market board, and I was a poor man because of it. But as we can see, a leather eye patch here is 141. Compare that to the 1,000 we saw over there. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, we're going to get the eye patch, and you might be asking, why don't you get the pot helm? It's because it looks bad, and our character needs to look cool before he looks strong. So we'll sell those things while we're here as well. So already boosted right up to nearly 2 grand. We'll go to our character and equip it. Yeah, Now he looks blind. Very cool. Look at that. Perfect sight. Hair on one eye and an eye patch on the other. The strongest marauder around. If I can... There he is. Look at... Oh, fuck. Look at that face. You don't want to mess with this guy. Okay. Let's see what Swazbly has. Last time he helped us to explain what the market boards were, so let's see what's up with him today. The right price. Swazbly, the master merchant of Hawker's Alley, wants you to look into the current market prices. You, sir adventurer, I have work for you. I would have you pose as a customer and survey the market's current prices. Surely, I did not see you balk at such a simple task. All you need to do is strike up a conversation with the shop owners and glance over at their wares. There are 3 merchants that interest me: Iron Thunder, Kyokorun, and Sydney Hill. Write down all you see of his price list and hand it to Bainsamrag on the West Hawker's Alley. He shall reward you for your service. Okay, not too bad. I think a lot of the fun of side quests early on as well is that you get to kind of walk around and get more familiar with the place. Eventually you don't really need to check the map at all and you can kind of just understand the alleyways. You got to see really interesting stuff like this, like, look at this guy. Look at him. Got some sick chains. And just overall, like, what the fuck is it? And you just start asking questions. It makes you more intrigued about the world. There's a lot of good resources to find out more. There's a Final Fantasy XIV wiki. And there are some Collectopedia books which are coming out soon, or have not already come out, which are very good for learning about the whole world of Final Fantasy XIV. It's a very deep and interesting world after all the expansions, and as you keep going, you'll just get more and more interested. I think A Realm Reborn is really good to start. It's a really good start. It takes a while, it's a lot of quests, and a lot of quests, but it gets Heavensward is incredible, and I can't wait to take you all there. Kyokorun welcomes customer. Kyokorun loves his lovely trade. Kyokorun goods are goodly made. Thank you, Kyokorun. I guess he makes wealthy trade. Good trade. Oh, look at this. That's sick. Oh, that is pretty fucking cool. Level 90 as well, max level. Hell, maybe we'll be there one day. Alongside this. Yeah. Mighty axe against someone who could very clearly kill us. But hey, everyone starts somewhere. As you can see, one side of it is we have this little sprout icon next to us, which is where Zack Sprout comes from. Shows we're a new player, and we lose that after we finish. I think once we start Shadowbringers, so we're level 70. I think we lose a little sprout icon, but this game is free up until level 60, including Heavensward, so highly recommend it to check out. Duty calls. Praja of Melvian Gates needs help collecting duty on important goods. Here at Melvian Gate, we inspect all the goods that are imported into Limsa Lominsa and collect duty as the law requires. Some merchants, however, seek to evade this obligation, and we must chase them down. I would be such grateful if you could deliver these 2 ledgers, one to a man named Sundhimar, whom you will find at Octant, other to a woman named Letitia, who works at Bismarck. If you are uncertain as to the whereabouts of Bismarck, ask Sundhimar where you meet him and he will point you to the right direction. Okay, let's get it. Okay, well, now we've kind of reached the end of here, but we can keep walking, so I'll meet you again at the next place. See ya. Okay, walking completely past it, but here they are, Sin Hill, and this is for the right price. A fine evening to you, sir. What can I interest you in? Why, you seem interested in most everything, don't you? Is this another one of those investigations? Well, I have nothing to hide. He has nothing to hide. Let's see what he sells while we're here. So this is where we can get stuff for the crafting things, as mentioned earlier. Disciple of a Hand. So this is more of your stuff like carpentry, blacksmithing, and goldsmithing. I'd say a good one to choose early on would be, or whichever really is available to you. But after we can now get once we can get access to the other 2 city-states, I personally prefer blacksmithing. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's cool to make your own weapons, which you can use. I think it's good to mix with the gameplay. You know, to craft your own axe to then go into battle is quite satisfying. And now we're speaking to Iron Thunder. a very cool name. I wonder what he sounds like.
Well met, lad. Cast your peepers over to these beauties. Not a spot of rust to be found. Every piece fresh from the forges of Naldo and Vilmers.
Wow, it's exactly like I expected. Incredible. Well, we can go back now, and we can speak to Bine Singh. It's only a level 1 quest, so we shouldn't get too much from this, but it is pretty important because, as you can see, we get shards. Shards are incredibly important. They're useful for in crafting, and later on when you're trying to craft as much stuff as possible for the market boards, you'll be wishing you had max amount of shards at all times. You're the one that made this list for Swazplat. Let's have it then. There you go. Nothing wrong with these markets, as far as I can tell. You oftentimes get pirates selling stolen goods at cutthroat prices, and that drives the numbers down right across Orca's Alley. Thanks to these reports, though, we can tell at a glance that shady dealings are taking place. Good work, lad. Cheers, boss. That was nice, just a few bit of XP. Okay. Alright, moving on. Let's go to Sheepish request, and I stay in the streetlight. Okay, meet you there. Actually, yeah, along the way we'll pick up his final quest, and let's speak to Natama, one of the people at the entrance. We get some more potions, which is always handy. Natama needs help with the keep of the city, a bright and cheery place. Sounds like you're already in the Yellow Jacket's good graces. You truly are a model adventurer, a paragon among your fellows. Do you think you could do me a favour? Well, yes, of course. Anything for a cat girl. You see, I'm supposed to go and fill up all the street lamps with oil so that they'll stay lit throughout the night. But thanks to this business of missing, I can't simply up and leave my post. If you could tend to the street lamps in my stead, I'll be eternally grateful. Oh, and when you're finished, please fetch more oil from Sispu in Fisherman's Guild. We're running low here, and she has care of our stores. Key items. Key items can be used on targets by right-clicking them and just pressing use. This will be used later in main quests, but it's quite interesting when we get them early on. I've never really noticed this with these side quests. We'll speak to Albifar for a sheepish request. The Bismarck wants fresh lamb, does it? Gods, I could do with a slice myself. Fresh off a grill and dripping its own juices. Sorry friend, I haven't had a single bite to eat since my shift began. Any road, could you get lamb easily through the hunting lambs that graze outside the city, go through Zephyr Gate and follow the path east and south for a bit, and run into the fluffy and tasty critters before long. Might have to fetch one back for Albifar himself. Feel bad for the man. Okay, but let's quickly speak to a few more people for refilling the streetlights. 7 is quite a lot, so let's just speed through this. Actually, along the way, let's speak to Sundhimal while we're here. A ledger from a Mervin's Gate, you say? Well, here you go. Yet more outstanding duty payments. When will those merchants ever learn? Very well, if I catch sight of any offenders, I shall drag them to the gate, kicking and screaming if needs be. One more ledger bound for Bismarck, you say? Follow this path to the upper decks and you'll find the place. Thank you very much, Sundhimal. But yeah, like I said, let's do these street lamps. Alright, now that we've done the lamps, we can turn in the quest. Speaking to Sispu here. Nice. Sorry, I jumped into your waters. You're doing what? What am I to do with that girl? She has the nerve to ask me for work, twaddling tripe about her savings, only to foist it on another venture that comes along. Being young and pretty does not give you a license to shirk responsibility. Hey, she'd get her oil alright, and a piece of my mind to boot. Ooh, can I put them in hot water? Chief calls. Finish that off by jumping to the Culinary Guild. This is very useful, the Ethernet system. It's so incredible for moving around. I truly would be nowhere without it. Could not be asked to walk to every corner of this map every single time. Speak to Letitia. Tax evaders among our patrons, you say? Goodness me. We've got evidence. I dare say this will put an end to their appetite, but this is the best interest of the city-state. If any of the merchants named to his leisure come to dine with us, I shall see that Maitland's Gate is notified without delay. Oh, we got Ether here. Ether can restore your MP, just like potions can restore your HP during battle and just outside of battle. If you're a healer or a mage class, this is very useful, but as we're a physical tank marauder, we're not going to see much use out of this. But later on, when we're going to be trying out some other classes, it'll be handy to have them in our back pocket. Now we can go over to Sheep's Quest and try and do some lambs. So we probably want to be from here now. We could spend the money on the thing. I don't know. Might want to save as much as possible, so I think I'll just meet you there. Right, now that we're out of Zephyr Gate and in the Zephyr Drift, we can go against some more lambs. If you remember, this is the enemy we faced in the other episode when we luckily unlocked Maim. Now we can tackle them again, this time with even more strength. Ooh. We are quite mousy in this game, we're quite cute. We remind you of in Pokemon, the new Pokemon from Gen 8, the grass one. The sheep one. So cute. My favourite sheep Pokemon, though. I think that probably has to go. Oh, it's in the title, that's a go. I guess I'll take it back, it probably is a sheep. I feel bad for these guys, we don't really have much of a chance. Hey. We need that mon. Yeah, let's go back. 145. Ooh, I don't know. I think again. Let's face this giant. Let's see if we can try it now. A big challenge. Let's go on. Now, let's go. Okay. So in this case, this would be a pretty good time to use Rampart, because it's just me and them. We can try and reduce it down. Because if you notice, our health kind of regenerates slowly, not too much, 2 points every few seconds. So that's pretty good. And we took it down, level 12. 156 XP plus with 50% XP bonus. If you notice, we've got quite a lot of Arrestus bonus. It's been a while since I've played, so this should help us level up faster. We don't get this bonus from quests or anything like that. It's just from craft. We just get it through crafting and attacking. But it's pretty useful. But I'll meet you back there. Let's go hand in request to Halano.